right back at you with another one. Today we have none other than 600 Dthang, 600 Dthang, 600 Dthang, and I would be remiss if I didn't say RIP to 600 Dthang. Now, if you haven't done so already, definitely subscribe. I will be dropping more content today, and I'm just going to kick it out as long as I have the free time too. So you definitely want to hit that notification bell and subscribe. All right, now that's out the way. I want to say thank you to all the other content providers, content subscribers, producers, excuse me, and everybody that's been supporting me so forth. Man, you guys are awesome and amazing. So I appreciate every last one of you, and thank you so much for walking on this journey with me. So jumping into this paperwork now, 600 Dthang. We have the incident is a aggravated handgun, a battery, occurrence location 60 redacted South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Chicago, Illinois, sidewalk. Occurrence date is September 13th, 2011 at 1440 hours through September 13th, 2011, 1445 hours. And they have family member notified, name redacted, and residence redacted. Victim, individual Varner Devon. He is a male black, brown eyes, black hair, dark brown complexion, age 18 years approximately. And there are two witnesses. The first witness is a female, age 19, brown eyes, brown hair, braids, hairstyle, medium complexion. Demographics for the second witness is a female, black, approximately 20 years of age. Scrolling down into the injuries section, we have CPD provided first aid, yes. CFD first aid was given, yes. Injury extent fatal, and the hospital was Cook County. Type gunshot, weapon used handgun, other weapons used unknown. You have two suspects. Names are unknown for both. Demographics are male black, 5'7", 150 pounds, brown eyes, black hair, unknown hairstyle, medium brown complexion. Suspected of using weapon. Clothing description, top blue, other. Suspect number two, demographics 5'9", 180 pounds, unknown eyes, unknown hair, unknown hairstyle, unknown complexion. No relationship to the victim or the offender. We have another section under crime pattern information. We have Varner Devon, victim was taken to hospital building grounds. Unknown suspect fled northbound from sidewalk. We have notifications surrounding the homicide, and under that we have a narrative which we will read. Event number in summary, witness number one stated that the offender approached her vehicle, opened the car door, pointed a black handgun, and stated, this is for redacted, at the victim, at which time the victim jumped out of the vehicle, ran in front of the southwest corner of 61st and King Drive, where he was shot one time by the offender in the stomach. The offender was standing in front of 61 redacted King Drive when he fired the shot. The offender fled northbound from the location. The victim was pronounced by redacted Stroger Hospital at 1535 hours. Proper notifications went through the department channels, and they transported the victim via CFD, engine 38. Witness transported into A2 by BT 313. We have the reporting personnel, which are the detectives reporting to the scene. And the next document we have is a reclassification document from the case supplementary report. The last offense reclassification is a homicide in first-degree murder. The original offense classification was a battery aggravated handgun. And this was reclassified, on September 14th, 2011. This is a field investigation reclassified report. And it lists the victim here, and it lists the suspects as unknown as well. Lists the victim's injuries and where the victim was transported to. Method codes, person shot, DNA, CAU code. And we have witnesses under there that are redacted completely. Any associations are none. We have incident notifications as well. And we're scrolling down to the next document we have, and it is a morgue report. And this is for the homicide and first-degree murder. And the date this was submitted was September 19th, 2011. This is a field investigation morgue report. All right, and we're getting down through some information we already have to not be repetitive. Location of incident. All right. right, witnesses. And what we aim to get down to is potentially an investigation. Okay, here we are. We have HT 95036, right? We have Dr. Filkins performed an autopsy on the remains of Dthang Varner and determined the cause and manner of death to be gunshot wound of back/homicide. External examination, gunshot wound to lower left back, lodged. Internal examination, 1 medium caliber copper jacketed bullet recovered. And the next document we have is a progress violence scene case supplementary report, and this was filed on September 30th, 2011. This is a field investigation progress violent scene report, and we're getting through some more of the information we already know, but it seems now we do have a suspect of a Christopher Hughes, is a male, black, 24 years, date of birth, month and day is redacted, the year is 87, and the residence is redacted. All right, he was wearing top blue, other top blue. All right, so we do have a suspect at this current time, and the witnesses are redacted. So that was the new information for that sections of the document. And now we're getting into another investigation. This is an Area 2 violent scene supplementary report, and it lists the victim and his name. He's a male, 118, single, unemployed, and he's listed as Brick City Black Disciple. Now they have a wanted for the suspect, and his address is redacted, and his description is listed here. His gang affiliation is Jaro City Outlaw. All right, and then we have injuries, which we read up above. 1 gunshot wound to lower back, lodged. All right, and location of the incident. Weather and lighting was warm and it was daylight. It's a Tuesday at 14:40 hours. The manner and motive: offender approached the offender while he was seated in the rear passenger seat, exchanged words with him, and shot the victim once. He exited the vehicle / unknown motive at this time. And they have some evidence, a gunshot residue evidence collection kit. They submitted for some gunshot residue, and they interviewed some individuals. And we'll start at the investigation. The reporting detectives were assigned to conduct a follow-up investigation in reference to a homicide per Sergeant K. Bigg of this command on September 13, 2011. The incident occurred at the location of 61 redacted South King Drive, September 13, 2011, 14:40, 100 hours. Recorded under RD number listed. The victim, known as Dthang Varner, was transported to Stroger Hospital with a gunshot wound to the stomach. Bigg informed the reporting detectives that Varner was involved in a verbal altercation with the offender prior to being shot. Reporting detectives enlisted the assistance of Detective J. Carlasari and Detective Hefferan, who relocated to Stroger Hospital in order to ascertain Varner's condition. Varner was transported to Stroger Hospital per CFD number 38. Reporting detectives arrived on the scene, which consisted of various businesses along 61st from east to west and several businesses and residents north of 61st Street on King Drive and multi-unit apartment building south of 61st Street on King Drive. The crime scene was cordoned off with inner and outer perimeter tape from approximately 6018 through 6113 South King Drive from north to south, and from Vernon to Calumet from east to west. Beat 5818 arrived and processed the crime scene for anything of evidentiary value. Reporting detectives were made aware that prior to being shot, Varner was in the company of 2 females who accompanied Varner to Fat Boy's Food Mart, which is located on the northwest corner of 61st and King Drive, prior to being shot. Beat 313 informed the reporting detectives that redacted and redacted were present when the shooting incident occurred. Detective Hightower spoke briefly with redacted and redacted, who provided a brief synopsis of the shooting incident of Dthang Varner. They related that prior to the shooting incident, Varner exited redacted vehicle and went into Fat Boy's Food Mart, where he purchased a Pepsi, which he bought for redacted and redacted. Go on to explain that Varner was in the store for approximately 1 minute. He came back to redacted vehicle, gave her the Pepsi, and went across to the north side of 61st Street and talked to several friends. Redacted then related that once Varner returned, Redacted vehicle, he got into the rear passenger seat. The gunman approached, opened the rear passenger door, and pointed a short-barrel blue steel handgun at Varner, who quickly exited the vehicle. Redacted drove off after Varner directed them to do so. They heard a shot, and once they returned to the intersection of 61st and King Drive, they observed Varner on the ground on the south side of 61st Street. Redacted agreed to be interviewed, and Beat 313 transported them to Area 2 to be interviewed, per the reporting detectives. Detective B. Bowie viewed the video surveillance tape at Fat Boy's Food Mart and contacted the video tech lab. Dombrowski arrived at Fat Boy's Food Mart and downloaded the surveillance footage on September 13, 2011. Reporting detectives spoke with Detective Calasari, who informed them that Varner arrived at Stroger Hospital with no vital signs. He sustained one gunshot wound to his lower left back and was pronounced at 15:34 hours, per Redacted. Varner was fingerprinted and photographed per Beat 5803, D. Cook, and another detective on September 13, 2011 at 16:35 hours. Carlisari also informed the reporting detectives that victim Davon Varner's Redacted, along with Davon Varner's Redacted, 1982 was present at Stroger Hospital when Davon was pronounced. It should be noted that reporting detectives were made aware that, according to Fat Boy's video surveillance, the offender was in the company of a male black individual known as Redacted prior to the shooting incident. Redacted was located, transported to Area 2, and Beat 5813 arrived at 17:25 hours and administered a gunshot residue test to Redacted. In furtherance of the investigation, detective conducted an interview of Redacted at Area 2, February 13, 2011. The following account is a summarization of his interview. Redacted stated in essence, but not verbatim, that an individual named Dome is responsible for the shooting incident of Davon Varner. Redacted continued in saying that he was a Brick City black disciple from the area of 58th Street between King Drive and Calumet, and Dome is a Jarrow City outlaw gangster disciple from the area of 62nd Street in Vernon. Redacted further related that even though he considers Dome a friend, Brick City and Jarrow have been at odds for approximately 3 years. Redacted added that he and Dome each spoke to each other, and that's it. Redacted related that on today's day he saw Dome in the Fat Boy's Food Mart. Redacted asked Dome if he had some weed on him, and Dome said no. Redacted continued in saying Dome asked him if he had $1. Redacted gave him one, and they both proceeded to the cash register. Redacted pulled Dome's black shirt back and asked him if he, Dome, had a job. Redacted explained to detective he thought Dome had some kind of work outfit on. Dome replied no, he did not have a job, and they both exited the store. Redacted related he walked across the street to the fish and chicken restaurant where he stood outside the door. Redacted observed Dome walk south on the east side of King Drive towards 62nd Street, and approximately 5 minutes later, Redacted observed Dome walk north on King Drive towards 61st Street, back towards the fish and chicken restaurant. Redacted then observed Dome walk back towards Fat Boy's Food Mart in the direction of a white car that was parked on King Drive in front of Fat Boy's Food Mart, where Davon and the girls were seated. Redacted observed Dome walk up to the car, pull out a gun, and pointed at Davon. Redacted related Davon exited the white car and ran around it to avoid getting shot. Redacted informed detective that Dome attempted to get Davon, but then he walked back south on King Drive towards 62nd Street. Redacted related Davon walked south on King Drive towards 61st Street. He then observed another male black wearing a black baseball cap, black pants, and a white t-shirt run to the corner of 61st Street and King Drive and fire one round towards Davon, but he missed him. Redacted then observed the unknown male black run across the street and south on King Drive. Davon. He then ran west on the north side of 61st Street. He crossed the south side of 61st Street and went back east to the corner of 61st at King Drive. Redacted related he observed Dome walking on King Drive from 61st Street, turn around, and shoot at Davon a total of 3 times. At that point, Redacted observed Davon fall to the ground and believes the second shot is the one that got him. Redacted related Dome ran south on King Drive towards 62nd Street, and Redacted ran over to Davon where he yelled for someone to call the police. Redacted added he has known Dome for at least 2 years and could add nothing further. Following the interview of Redacted, detective utilized department resources and was able to obtain an IR history for an individual named Redacted Hughes. Redacted should be noted that Hughes was placed in a photo array and presented to Redacted identified Hughes as the individual as Dome and the individual he observed shoot Dthang Varner on September 13, 2011. In furtherance of this investigation, Detective Hightower conducted an interview of Redacted in Area 2 on February 13, 2011 at 18:55 hours. The following account is a summarization of her interview. Redacted related in essence but not verbatim that she is 19 years of age. She has known Redacted, whom she considers her best friend, for 10 years, and they attended grammar school together. Redacted continued in saying that she has known the victim, Dthang Varner, since high school, and further related that they attended Redacted, which is located at 51st and King Drive. Redacted related that on today's date, prior to the shooting incident of Dthang Varner, she was seated on the passenger side of Redacted vehicle, a white Chevy Cavalier, 4-door. Redacted was the driver and Dthang was seated in the rear passenger seat behind Redacted. Continued in saying that Redacted pulled up to Fat Boy's Food Mart, which is located on the northwest corner of King Drive at 61st Street, because Redacted and Dthang both wanted a Pepsi Cola. Redacted further related that Dthang exited the vehicle, went in the store, purchased a Pepsi, and returned to the vehicle no more than 1 minute later, where she and Redacted remained seated. Redacted related Dthang literally went in the store and came right back out when once he returned, Dthang took a sip from the Pepsi, gave it to Redacted, and walked to the south side of 61st Street where he conversed with a friend named Redacted. Dthang then returned and entered Redacted vehicle where he sat in the rear passenger seat behind her with his feet across the back seat. Redacted related that while Redacted and Dthang were talking, Redacted observed a male black open the rear passenger door and point a black short barrel revolver at Dthang. Redacted heard the male black say, Redacted, and she described him as a male black in his late 20s, approximately 5'6", thin stature, medium caramel complexion, wearing a black long sleeve t-shirt with a name or logo in the upper left hand corner with a ponytail. Redacted related she was really focused on the handgun, and as Dthang slid backwards out of the car, Redacted heard him say, "What you on, Redacted?" Informed the reporting detective that Dthang walked around the back of the car as the male black walked around the front of the car. Redacted continued in saying she heard Dthang tell her and Redacted to leave as the male black walked across King Drive to the east side of the street. Redacted further related she told Redacted to pull off as Dthang repeatedly told him to leave because Redacted was trying to get him to get in her car. Redacted made a left turn onto the eastbound 61st Street as the male black walked back across King Drive to the west side of the street where Dthang was with the black handgun still in his hand. Prior to executing a U-turn at Vernon and 61st Street, Laparisha heard a single gunshot. Redacted began to drive westbound on 61st Street back towards King Drive. They stopped at the light, and once the light turned green, Redacted proceeded through the light, and Redacted observed Dthang lying on the ground. Redacted informed the reporting detective that Redacted actually drove to the wrong side of 61st Street. They exited the vehicle. Redacted could add nothing at this time. Redacted viewed a photo array and identified Redacted Hughes as the individual she observed point a handgun at Dthang Varner prior to him being shot on September 13, 2011. Following the interview Redacted, Detective Hightower conducted an interview of Redacted on Area 2, September 13, 2011 at 19:30 hours. The following account is a summarization of her interview. Redacted stated in essence and not verbatim that she has known Redacted since grammar school, which is approximately 10 years, and she has known the deceased Dthang Varner for approximately 2 to 3 years. Redacted continued in saying that she is his Redacted, and on today's date, she drove to Fat Boy's Mart, which is located on the northwest corner of 61st and King Drive. Redacted further related that Redacted was seated on the passenger side of her vehicle, a white Chevy Cavalier 4-door, and Dthang was seated in the rear passenger seat behind Redacted. Redacted related that once they arrived, Dthang exited the vehicle and went into the store to get a Pepsi for him and Redacted. Estimated that Dthang was gone no longer than 1 minute, and once he returned to the vehicle, he walked across 61st Street to the south side and began to converse with some friends for 2 minutes, whom Redacted does not know by name. Redacted related that by the time she drank her pop and finished her piece of chicken, Dthang returned, got in her vehicle, and spread out across the back seat. Redacted related she told Dthang that he didn't even know where he was going. He replied that he sure didn't know where he was going, and Dthang told her to pull off. Simultaneously, Redacted saw her rear passenger door open and observed an individual described as a male black in his mid to late 20s, 5'6", thin stature, medium complexion, wearing a long sleeve shirt with a logo in the upper left-hand corner, with a short barrel black revolver in his hand, which he pointed at Dthang once he opened the rear passenger door. Redacted related she heard the male black subject say, "You lucky somebody was right there." She thought she heard him say, "Redacted, ... and as Dthang managed to get out of the rear driver door, Redacted heard him say, "What the fuck?" Redacted related once Dthang got out of her vehicle, he told her and Redacted to get the fuck out of there, and Redacted observed the man across to the east side of King Drive, and from there he crossed to the south side of 61st Street. Redacted added she slowly pulled off as she tried to convince Dthang to get in the car. At the same time, Redacted was yelling at her to pull off, and the man was standing in the middle of the 61st Street holding up traffic with the gun in his hand. Redacted related she heard a single shot once she pulled off and turned eastbound onto 61st Street from King Drive, and once she made it to Rhodes, Redacted made a U-turn and went westbound on 61st Street back towards King Drive. She stopped at the light at 61st Street and King Drive and proceeded westbound on 61st Street through the green light across King Drive. Redacted parked on the wrong side of 61st Street, south side, once she observed Dthang lying on the ground and could add nothing further at this time. It should be noted that Redacted viewed a photo array containing subject Redacted Hughes. Redacted left Area 2 shortly after their interviews. Reporting detectives requested POD surveillance for Pod 313 on September 13, 2011. Reporting detectives contacted Felony Review, and ASA E. Wood arrived at Area 2 September 13, 2011. He reviewed the facts pertaining to the investigation and conducted an interview of Redacted in Area 2 September 13, 2011. Redacted related the same account as indicated in his initial interview with detective. He agreed to give a handwritten, which was taken per ASA Wood in the presence of Detective B. Bowie, September 14, 2011 at 12:30 hours. Redacted left Area 2 shortly thereafter. ASA Wood reviewed the facts pertaining to the investigation and redacted the case pending the reporting detectives locating and interviewing the offender, Redacted Hughes. Reporting detectives issued an investigative alert for Redacted Hughes. Right? It should be noted that during the course of this investigation, the reporting detective spoke with Redacted of the Illinois Department of Corrections Home Monitoring, who confirmed that Redacted Hughes is currently on electronic home monitoring. Redacted informed the reporting detectives that Hughes left his residence February 13, 2011 at 14:09 hours, and he returned to his residence at 14:22 hours, where he remained for 20 seconds and left again at 14:22 hours. He returned at 14:46 hours. Redacted also confirmed that Hughes is allowed movement between 0700 hours and 15:30 hours, Monday through Thursday. On September 14, 2011, the reporting detectives relocated to the residence of Redacted, the Redacted victim, Dthang Warner, and conducted an interview at 20:55 hours. The following account is a summarization of her interview. Redacted stated in essence and not verbatim that on the date of the homicide of Redacted, Dthang Warner occurred. She received a phone call from Dthang's friend, Redacted, who informed her Redacted had been shot. Redacted continued in saying that she received the phone call between 14:45 and 14:50 hours, and that Redacted made her aware that Dthang had gotten shot on 61st Street and King Drive. Redacted further related that she and Redacted relocated to 61st and King Drive and learned that Dthang had been transported to Stroger Hospital. Redacted related that once she arrived at Stroger Hospital, she spoke with medical personnel who informed her that Dthang's heart had stopped and that he was pronounced at 15:34 hours. Redacted related she had an opportunity to speak with Redacted, who provided her with an account of events that transpired which led to the shooting death of Dthang Warner. Redacted has not spoken to anyone else since Redacted was killed, and she verified that Dthang did reside with her prior to his demise. Redacted informed the reporting detectives that she is not aware of any problems that Dthang may have had with anyone, and if he did. Redacted related that Dthang would speak with Redacted, who was not present during the interview. Redacted formerly resided on Redacted, which is the reason why Dthang would hang out in the area. Redacted added that she was not aware that Dthang was in a gang and couldn't add nothing further. Reporting detectives furnished Redacted with a business card and requested that she contact them with any further information. During the course of the investigation, reporting detectives also learned that a CTA bus was in the area when the shooting incident of Dthang Warner occurred. Reporting detectives spoke with CTA Redacted on September 17, 2011 at 0920 hours. Redacted informed the reporting detectives that the bus number 59th Street bus was at 61st and King Drive on September 13, 2011 at 1442 hours. Redacted informed the reporting detectives that the bus was sent to South Shop for repairs and that he would have the hard drive pulled. On September 19, 2011, reporting detectives received a call from Redacted of CTA who confirmed that bus number listed was sent to South Shop. However, the DVR was bad and therefore nothing was recorded. At the writing of this report, Hughes has not been located. Reporting detectives spoke with Illinois Department of Corrections Parole Agent Rice on September 22, 2011 at 0840 hours, who confirmed that an armed and dangerous parole violation warrant has been issued for Redacted Hughes under the number listed September 14, 2011. Reporting detectives requested that Rice contact them once Hughes is located and arrested. This investigation continues. And we're scrolling down. We have a progress lineup case supplementary report. And we're going to get down to our new information here. Should be an investigation for us to read as we scroll down. This is an Area 2 photo lineup report. And it lists the date and time of this photo lineup that they are presenting. Persons present for photo lineup is redacted. Persons viewing photo lineup is redacted. Persons in photo lineup 1, 2, 3 are completely redacted. 4 is semi-redacted, and Hughes is not redacted. And we have 5 redacted and 6 redacted. All right, the witnesses redacted viewed the photo lineup at separate times. The photo lineup displayed 6 subjects with similar demographics. Both witnesses positively identified redacted Hughes, photo number 4, as the individual who shot and killed Dthang Varner. All right, we have another progress lineup report, and this one was submitted on January 30th, 2012. And we'll see what this one is referring to. All right, and date and time is December 21st, 2011 at 13:30 hours at Area 2. All right, and persons present at the lineup is redacted. Persons viewing the lineup is redacted. Persons participating in the lineup, 1, 2, and 3 are redacted. 4 is not, seems to be Hughes, male 124, 1987. Persons identified is Hughes, and address redacted, and date of birth is redacted. All right. Prior to the lineup, Christopher Hughes was given his choice as to where he wanted to stand in the position lineup. Hughes chose position number 4, with the lineup being viewed from left to right, with the number 4 position being to the far right and position number 1 being to the far left. Both witnesses, redacted and redacted, viewed the lineup and both positively identified Hughes as the individual who shot and killed Dthang Varner. All right. And we have a cleared open arrest and prosecution report. This is a field investigation cleared open arrest and prosecution report, and this was submitted on January 30th, 2012. And we'll get to the gist of that also. Scrolling past notifications. Okay, and it lists the victim, of course, Dthang Varner, and they say in custody is Hughes, and his date of birth, day and month is redacted as a male 124. All right, we have arresting officers, and now we have charges, murder and first degree. Listing injuries, manner and motive. Offender approached the offender while he was seated in the rear passenger seat, exchanged words with him, and shot the victim once he exited the vehicle/gang conflict. Okay, and we have witnesses that are redacted. All right, we have on December 20th, 2011, reporting detectives were assigned to conduct a follow-up investigation for a homicide which occurred on September 13, 2011, per Sergeant Pellegrini, number 1932 of this command. On September 13, 2011, a homicide occurred at 61 Redacted South Martin Luther King Jr. South Martin Luther King Drive at 1440 hours. The incident is recorded under RD number listed, and during the course of this incident, the offender, redacted, shot the victim, Dthang Varner, with a handgun at the location of incident, thereby causing his death. The reporting detectives immediately submitted an investigative alert after the incident. On December 20th, 2011, reporting detectives spoke with Sergeant Carls from the DeKalb County Sheriff's Police Department, who stated that redacted Hughes was in custody at the DeKalb County Jail for giving a false name during a traffic stop, and that Hughes would be appearing in court for that matter at 1300 hours. Reporting detectives, along with P.O. Sheehan and Detective listed, relocated to DeKalb County Jail in Sycamore, Illinois, at which time Sergeant Carl stated that redacted Hughes would be escorted to court, and upon him being adjudicated for his charge, he would be released from their custody. Reporting detectives, along with the detectives, attended the court hearing for redacted Hughes, at which time the court determined that Hughes would be released from custody. Upon Hughes being released, he was then placed into custody and transported to Area 2 Bureau of Detectives by detectives. On December 20th, 2011 and December 21st, 2011, in furtherance of the investigation, the reporting detectives reviewed the facts pertaining to the homicide and then interviewed the offender and witnesses. Interview of arrestee. The following interview of Hughes was conducted by the detectives. Okay, and we'll get down into that. Hughes acknowledged that he understood his rights and then stated he wanted an attorney. Okay. On December 21st, ASA Cheryl Galvin arrived at Area 2 and reviewed the case and facts of the homicide of Dthang Varner. After reviewing the case, the interviews of redacted and redacted were conducted. Interview of witness redacted by ASA. The interview of redacted was conducted by ASA Galvin in the presence of Detective Hightower on December 21st, 2011 at 1600 hours at Area 2 Detective Division. Redacted agreed to speak to ASA Galvin and Detective Hightower. Redacted agreed to give a handwritten statement taken by ASA Galvin. Redacted gave her facts pertaining to the case and is included in the handwritten statement. The facts of the case given by Redacted were also given by her to reporting detectives on September 13, 2011 at Area 2 Detective Division. Interview of witness redacted by ASA Cheryl Galvin. The interview of redacted was conducted by ASA Galvin in the presence of Detective Bowie on December 21st, 2011 at 1745 hours at Area 2 Detective Division. Redacted agreed to speak to ASA Galvin and Detective Bowie. Redacted agreed to give a handwritten statement taken by ASA Galvin. Redacted gave her facts pertaining to the case and is included in the handwritten statement. The facts of the case given by Redacted were also given by her to reporting detectives on September 13, 2011 at Area 2 Detective Division. ASA Cheryl Galvin reviewed all facts pertaining to this investigation and approved a felony charge of homicide, first-degree murder against Redacted Hughes on December 22, 2011 at 12:45 hours. Based on the aforementioned facts, this case is closed by arrest and prosecution. And there you have it, and that was the homicide report for none other than 600 Dthang. Man, this was a wild one, and I must say again, rest in peace to 600 Dthang. If you haven't done so already, definitely subscribe. I will be dropping more videos today. Peace.